The story is breaking from the Daily Mail. Cops find explosives in a car near a Trump rally on Long Island after second assassination attempt. The Daily Mail reports police reportedly found explosives in a car near former President Trump's rally site on Long Island ahead of his speech Wednesday evening. If it is confirmed, it will be the latest shocking security breach and comes just 3 days after a would-be assassin was arrested at his Palm Beach golf club. My friends, as this story is breaking while we're recording live, I want to try and check active news sources on X. I'm seeing numerous reports coming through on X right now, and I'll try to bring in any relevant information as this information comes in. This is terrifying. This is absolutely terrifying. We've got viral videos showing massive crowds lining up in Long Island, and now the police reporting they found explosives. I hope this is a false alarm, but let's read the news. Sources in Nassau County Police Department allegedly told one American News journalist, James Lalino, that the rally site perimeter was breached and a blue barrel was removed. Holy crap. In addition, during the canine sweep, they apparently found an explosive device in one of the vehicles. The sources allegedly said the driver ended up running into the woods. No one saw if he had anything on him. They just saw him take off running. A lot of cars are now parking. They are lining up on Hempstead Turnpike, just parking on the grass. Even over at Eisenhower Park, they're just parking over there. The source went on to tell Lalino, according to a post on X, thousands of MAGA fans are expected to descend upon Long Island this afternoon ahead of the 7 p.m. Eastern rally at Nassau Coliseum. Again, this is breaking, so I am currently looking this up. I'm going to do a search and see if we can get the initial report from the reporter here, One American News. They say, let's grab this. It's Lalino. We are looking for James Lalino, and we'll get that. James, of course, does in fact follow me. We've got this story from an hour ago. Sources in the Nassau County Police Department just told me that the perimeter was breached and a blue barrel was removed from the area. Source said during K9, doing their checks, they found an explosive device in one of the vehicles. The driver ended up running into the woods. No one saw if he had anything on him. They just saw him take off running. A lot of cars are now parking. They're lining up on Hempstead Turnpike, just parking in the grass. Even over at Eisenhower Park, they're just parking over there. So this is the tweet in question. The breaking story from James Lalino, who is an American journalist. I hope we can get more information on this, but this is getting downright terrifying, my friends. Probably more information for you tonight on youtube.com/TimcastIRL at 8 p.m. But in the meantime, let's go through where we're currently at. Donald Trump, of course, narrowly surviving an assassination attempt in July, and I think comfortably surviving an attempt just a few days ago. I say comfortably because the Secret Service did an advanced search of the holes while Trump was golfing, and they spotted the barrel of a rifle, an SKS, and they apprehended a suspect, Ryan Routh, or Ruth, whatever his name is. I don't know. Now, many people are criticizing the Secret Service, saying, why didn't they do a perimeter sweep? I think the Secret Service did a great job here. Donald Trump wanted a last-minute round of golf. So when they went, Secret Service began doing a perimeter sweep while Trump was playing, and they stopped the guy. Many people said they should have done a perimeter sweep, but it was last minute. I do think they need more security, and they should do the best they can. But in this instance, why are we complaining? They stopped the guy. They stopped him. What's going on here with this explosives being found in this car? This is a terrifying report to be coming out right now, as this could be targeting Trump supporters. And you know what, man? I saw a clip. It was Whoopi Goldberg saying, stop saying both sides. There's only one side. Yeah, is it the left? January 6th is bad, my friends. Don't get me wrong. But what is going on here? This is terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Look, I am doing this show. I produce it in the morning. I wake up, I comment, I start pulling sources. I talk about the news. I've got a story lined up for you guys about Donald Trump's favorability. We're here to talk about, do people want to vote for Trump or not? Do they like the guy or not? Did Kamala Harris improve? How was the debate? Standard American politics. And amidst my live stream, I get a breaking report that they find explosives, a perimeter breach. This is unacceptable. Violence is unacceptable. And you know what, man? We are not seeing this coming from Trump supporters going to Democrat or leftist areas. It's Antifa, it's the far left, it's violent left extremists targeting Donald Trump. Could this be a third attempt? I don't know. But let's do this. Jack Posobiec tweeted earlier today, or it may have been yesterday, but he tweeted recently, if Trump was losing, the assassination attempts would be unnecessary. The banning of memes would be unnecessary. The reality is, Trump's probably doing a lot better than they want you to think. The polls are busted. The polls are biased. I respect them to a certain degree. I do. And it's important to show that here's why I say this. Because the left is going to say, oh, you don't trust polls, but now all of a sudden if Trump is winning, you do? Yeah, it's kind of obvious, right? If the polls are slanted in favor of Democrats, we say they're slanted in favor of Democrats. Trump's doing better than we realize. If Trump is ahead in the polls, we go, whoa, Trump is winning despite polls favoring Democrats? Duh. Well, here's what we got from Gallup this morning. Favorable ratings of Harris and Trump remain under 50%. Now tell me, Gallup, why you didn't just put Trump's favorability increases, Harris decreases following debate. That's the news story. They're going to say, nearly identical percentages of U.S. adults rate Donald Trump and Kamala Harris favorably in Gallup's latest poll. Now, this is important. Trump's favorability is 46 and Kamala's is 44. Trump is more favorable than Kamala Harris. I don't know. People keep saying Kamala Harris, she won the debate. Trump's more favorable than her right now, during which the candidates debated for the first time. Both candidates, however, have higher unfavorable than favorable ratings. Here's the latest news, my friends. They say use the buttons to view the recent trends. We're looking at Donald Trump's favorability, currently sitting at 46%, with his unfavorability at 53%. However, following the debate, Donald Trump's favorability has increased from 41 to 46. People saw that guy on stage and they said, I like this guy. Not everybody, not more than half, but there were 41% of people who already liked him. 5% of those said, you know what? I actually like this guy more than not. So Trump's unfavorability went from 55 to 53. So that means there's about a two-point swing. That means some of the people who didn't like him saw him and said, you know what? I actually kind of like this guy. That's tremendous. 2 points is huge for Donald Trump. Now, for Kamala Harris, her unfavorability is 54. She is less liked than Trump and less favorable than Trump. I mean, this is huge news, isn't it? This is indicative of Trump winning the debate. Okay, but let's talk about what it means to win the debate. There's like a viral post going around where they're claiming that Joe Rogan said Kamala did way better. She was better prepared. But I got to stop you there, Joe, buddy. No, I agree to a certain extent, but I don't think this proves preparation. I believe that Donald Trump was prepared. I believe that Kamala Harris was prepared. I believe that Kamala Harris kept her cool and attacked where she was trained to attack. Insult Donald Trump, challenge his ego. And Donald Trump walked right into it. However, it's a question of what do people prefer? And I made this point, and I think it needs to be considered, that people don't like looking at Kamala Harris sitting there with her hand on her chin like this, going, mm-hmm. Well, Donald Trump's rallies, people leave, you know. What do they like? Donald Trump saying, excuse me, listen, I'm going to fight for the economy. This is the worst administration. People are suffering. Now, don't get me wrong. When Trump says, nobody leaves my rallies, you know, my rallies are the best rallies. No one's ever left. It's like, Trump, stop. She got you. She got him there. She knew he'd walk into that one. She actually gave Trump a layup with that. When she said, well, you know, Donald Trump's rallies, people just leave. Trump could have responded with, excuse me. I don't think the American people care to listen to a debate about my rallies. They want to hear about why you don't have an economic plan. They want to hear about why you have not done anything in 3.5 years. My plan to unleash the American economy, American energy. We're going to produce oil. We're going to deregulate. Energy costs will reduce transportation costs, which is going to reduce the cost of your groceries overnight. Boom. Trump could have done it. Regardless, Trump's favorability is higher than that of Kamala Harris following the debate. Let's take a look at this. Before the debate, Kamala Harris' unfavorability was 49 and her favorability was 47. Donald Trump, before the debate, his unfavorability was 55 and his favorability was 41. It's flipped. Kamala Harris went from being less unfavorable, it's a weird way to say it, and more favorable to now Trump being more favored and less unfavored. I don't like saying it that way. It's just a weird thing, but it's the reality. I think this shows. Now, favorability, what does it mean? Look, I think there are people who are going to say Kamala Harris won the debate. She won the debate. You going to vote for her? No. I like Trump better. Ah, indeed, indeed. Because people have an expectation of what a debate is supposed to look like. So when Kamala Harris says, I'm calm, I'm collected, and Trump's angry, and Trump gets angry, they go, oh, yeah, she's calm and collected. She's winning this one for sure. You going to vote for it? No, I like what Trump was saying. That's it. Winning a debate doesn't mean you won the argument. It means you presented yourself better. I think this shows that Trump won where it mattered. And the reason why Trump won't do another debate, they're going to come out and they're going to say it's because he's scared, it's because he lost. Kamala wants another debate. I actually think Trump made a good point when he said after the championship fight, the loser demands a rematch every time. He's right. Why would Trump need to debate Kamala Harris again? His favorability is up. Her polls are up for sure, but we always know it's going to be the case. I don't trust the corporate press. But I think she did earn a bit. She outperformed, indeed. But she failed to explain her economic position, and that hurts her bad on the economy. Before the debate, Trump had a net positive favorability over Kamala Harris of 16 points on the economy, and it went up to like 20, 21 or 22, according to CNN. And Trump knows that is what matters. So he's not going to give her the opportunity to come out on stage and argue an economic plan and belittle Trump's. Trump knows she missed the opportunity. She may have looked better. He may have gotten flustered, but she ignored what she needed to do. Now, my friends, where we are currently at with the Silver Bulletin presidential forecast from Nate Silver, we will now see who is ahead in the polls first. Nate Silver's chosen poll shows Harris at 48.9 to Trump's 46. But mind you, we could be looking at a margin of error of around 3 points anyway. And the polls tend to favor the Democrats. We all know this. More importantly, and these are the swing state polls, mind you. This is the important polls. Let's take a look at what matters. The changes from week over week and month over month. This is worrisome for Trump, and he should pay attention to this. In the last week, Pennsylvania went Democrat 0.2. Michigan and North Carolina took a swing towards Republican. Georgia, Wisconsin, Arizona, Florida, Nevada have all moved Democrat a little bit. Texas and Minnesota have moved Republican a little bit. New Hampshire has moved Democrat a little bit. However, over the last month, not week, the Republicans have still seen a better swing in Pennsylvania, Michigan, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Arizona, Texas, and Minnesota. I do think it's interesting that he's including Texas in this. Pay attention to Texas, my friends. As per their model, what are we looking at? Right now, they have moved Nevada closer to a swing. Just last week, Nevada was red in the forecast model that they thought Trump was going to win it, but it's shifted. And Wisconsin and Michigan have now moved into Harris territory. They are actually now forecasting that Harris has the slightly higher chance of winning both Wisconsin and Michigan. Very bad news for Trump. Trump saw a beautiful high of 64.4% to win on September 9th. Kamala Harris had 35.3%. As of right now, Trump's probability in the Nate Silver forecast model is 56.2 to Harris's 43.5. Still very, very good news for Donald Trump. Why? He's holding on to Pennsylvania with a 15% chance to win lead over Kamala Harris. Over in the betting markets, we can see Harris is favored to win as of right now, but it's going back and forth. We don't know exactly how this is going to play out. Betfair has Harris to win. In fact, I think they all do. They all Betfair, Betson, Bovada, BWin, PointsBet, Polymarket, and Smarkets. Looks like they don't have predicted in here, but they're all favoring Harris to win with an aggregate of 51.6 to Trump's 46.7. Mind you, it is still a coin toss, and we don't know for sure. But the big story, my friends, I got to tell you, it's not about is Kamala Harris going to beat Donald Trump. It's about what happens to this country. Don Lemon says Trump needs to stop threatening democracy if he wants Kamala to stop saying he is. Peter Doocy asked Karine Jean-Pierre, you just called Trump a threat. Someone just tried to kill him for a second time. When will you stop? When it will be enough? He didn't say it like that. That's how I'm saying it. When Don Lemon is asked about this, or was presented, he says, well, it's Trump's fault. He's a threat. People are trying to kill this man. Stop. Calm down. I say this. I've definitely made sure we've calmed things down in our rhetoric and conversation about Democrats. I will tell you that I think they're bad politicians. They're self-interested. But what have I been saying over the past several weeks? The deep state wants to expand the petrodollar. They're bringing in immigrants because they want to pad the numbers. They're going to war because they want the liberal economic order. I'm keeping it straight to the facts. We don't want that. Donald Trump is correct. He wants to secure our border. He wants sound immigration policy so we can have better jobs for the American people. We can start to build up U.S.-based manufacturing, bring it back, and we have been. Better trade agreements, legal immigration, better assimilation. We want other countries to pay their fair share of NATO. I think Trump is correct on this one. Bringing in wave after wave to the millions of migrants to fill the gap in our economics it's not going to work. But you know what the problem is? Fertility in America is below replacement. And that means we cannot keep increasing the amount of jobs. So the Democrats' plan is open the gates. Everybody gets to come in. That doesn't work. You are bringing in low skill labor and mass and not high skill, high education labor. The problem then is you are only going to displace the working class of this country and you will create a massive poverty line. It will not solve the problems you think it will. We're facing a retirement managerial crisis as well. We got to do something about it. And I don't think the Democrats have the plan. So here we are. I'll give a shout out to Chris Cuomo, who says he's ashamed of how media is blaming Trump for a second assassination attempt. I called him today because I'm ashamed of how we are responding and not responding to threats on him. Cuomo's tried to have this rehabilitation, and sooner or later, he's going to earn a little bit. I mean it. I respect the call to Trump, the apology, and the criticism of the media. He's trying. I think the first thing he needs to do is apologize over his COVID lies and manipulations. But my friends, the big story, of course, is that an explosive is reportedly found at a Trump rally and a large blue barrel. We don't know what's going on with that. The New York Times reports, second apparent assassination attempt on Trump prompts alarm abroad. There is widespread concern the November election will not end well and that American democracy has frayed to the breaking point for the love of all that is holy. I would like to I want you all to imagine in your minds a man who sells tumbleweed laughing and saying, y'all laughed at me, y'all laughed at me. It's a Family Guy joke. They go to a city that's run down and been destroyed by, I think, by a facsimile of Walmart or something. And they're like, everyone's gone out of business except for that old guy who sells tumbleweed. And it's an old guy and he's like, y'all laughed at me, y'all laughed at me. And then he's throwing tumbleweed around. And then he jumps in a red convertible with a beautiful woman and he pulls up a wad of cash. And the woman says, that makes you attractive. And he's like, yeah, and then he drives off. My point is, that meme represents when someone's been saying, please, we are on track for something bad or something's going to happen. And everybody points and says, you're crazy, you're stupid. I don't know what you want from me, my friends. I don't want there to be conflict crisis in this country. I want us to be able to sit. You know what I want? I want to go to the sports book at Maryland Live. It's an amazing sports book if you've ever seen it. It's like you've got tables, you can order chicken wings, and there's just all of these. It's a massive screen, and each screen is segmented, showing a different sporting event. I'm watching MMA, I'm watching basketball at the same time. We went there, we ordered wings and drinks, and we are watching, I think we watched Strickland fight. That's what I want. That is the American dream right there, isn't it? I mean, I don't mean like the American dream, but it is a great component of the American dream. We go and hang out at the sports book. When you do sports betting, if you do, I'm not telling you to gamble, play responsibly, whatever. We all know that. I'm saying you get to bet $1 and then you get to root for your guy. And it's fun to hang out with your friends. That's what we want. We don't want conflict. We don't want crisis. I want to sit back. I want to see Sean Strickland cheer on Trump, smack talk the opponent, get a good match. I like it when you know the fights I like? I like the fights where afterwards they hug, they fist bump, regardless of who won or lost. I don't like the fights where they hate each other, they're mad at each other. I like sportsmanship. These two guys enter the ring, they fight. It's a brutal fight. And at the end, they're both like, good fight. I think it's great. I love that. We put the fighting in the ring where we have rules, referees, on-site medical. Because fighting is a thing that humans do, but we control it now. I don't want the conflict in the streets. But what am I supposed to say to all of you? What is anyone going to say to me when the New York Times is now saying internationally there is fear that the United States is to the breaking point? What does that mean, the breaking point? Explain what you think is going to happen. I don't know if they actually know. They just know that whatever happens in November, our system is not going to be functioning properly. May you live in interesting times indeed. In the 9 years since Trump entered politics, the global perception of the U.S. has been shaken by the image of a fractured, unpredictable nation. First one, then a second apparent attempt on the former president's life have accentuated international concerns, raising fears of violent turmoil, spiraling toward civil war. Hey, I don't know who, but one of you guys owes me a Coke, okay? 2018, 6 years ago, I'm watching this chaos, and I said, I fear we're on a track for a civil war, man. I'm scared. I don't know. And I had everyone against me. I think most of the fans of the show, many might have been skeptical, but you guys watched and I appreciate your support. But I can't tell you how many security experts, how many pundits, conservative politicians were like, little over the top, Tim, you need to calm down. You're sounding crazy over here. And I'm like, a Princeton professor just said it. The Atlantic just said it. A guy just wrote a book about it. What about that is unreasonable to say that our political system is unraveling? They accuse Trump of being a traitor to this country, working as a Russian spy since the 80s. I don't think it was unreasonable. Today for you, my friends, we are looking at the second assassination attempt on a former president in 2 months. We may be looking at some kind of terroristic attempt with explosives in a car. I don't know for sure. And the New York Times now saying the international community views the United States may be headed toward a civil war. It's right there on the New York Times. After the first attempt on Donald Trump, where a bullet actually struck the man in the side of the head, and he survived, grazing his ear, it was reported that we were millimeters away from civil war. I mean, I've been warning about this, and I feel like what I wish I had more influence at the time, that more people would have listened when I said, stop now, chill out. We don't want this. But the reality is I'm just some dude complaining on the internet. That's it. I wake up, I read the news, I read the stories, and I talk about what I think, and I get a lot wrong. And the scary thing is sometimes I get things right. That is scary, right? Sometimes. I don't know what the percentage is. What I can tell you this is I use the best sources I can find. I try to fact check them, and I try to get you true and correct information. You may disagree with my opinions on things because those are basically about what I think might happen or otherwise, but I can't see the future. So that means I get a lot wrong in my predictions. I think something's going to happen. It doesn't happen. Hey, I tell you this, September of last year, I said Biden will not be the nominee. He will not be the candidate for the Democrats. How could he be? And, well, there you go. 7 or whatever months later, he's gone. Actually, I think it might have been 8 or 9 months later. How about that? And now the New York Times is saying the international community fears civil war. I hope you're all preparing for the worst. I hope you're all hoping for the best. The Washington Post says violent threats and attacks escalate tension in Trump-Harris race. The corporate press and the mainstream media is now warning us. We face unprecedented times. And there's fear of a civil war. So I certainly hope it's not the case. I certainly hope that Trump wins, Democrats whinge, but ultimately we see accountability. We see order, not chaos. We see law enforcement action. But I do fear for the worst. We got more stories for you coming up. We're going to talk about what's going on with the Israel Patriot situation, updates on the story. So smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with all your friends. That's the way we do it. If every single person who watched this show shared it, we'd be bigger than Fox News, CNN, and all of them combined. Not kidding. Right now, live, there's 25,000 people watching. If every single person shared it, there'd probably be 100,000 people watching this show. For real. On average, they say a person has 300 followers or friends. So that's one way you can help, but you can become a member at timcast.com to support our work directly if you like the work that we do. Of course, you can also search the news because I have filed a lawsuit against Harris for president for defamation, and that's a big story as well that people are talking about. But we covered that last night on Timcast IRL. We're going to go to your super chats. So again, thank you all for hanging out. Next segment will be at 4 p.m. and we will see you all then.